How you guys doing? Did you guys enjoy the event? I did too. I thought from top to bottom, the men and women out there, they went out there, they gave it their all. The WWE Universe was absolutely just, it was a palpable fire. You could feel the fire from Gorilla where we were sitting, because that's where I sit. I'm on Gorilla, where, you know, the very important people sit. It's on the other side of the curtain. And well, that's neither here nor there, but I was on the other side, and it was palpable. The fire, St. Louis, they just brought it, the WWE Universe. I want to first thank the Universe for showing up and giving us $10,000 a ticket. I mean, it's not about the money, though. Showing up and hopefully being entertained by the product that we gave them tonight. The money, it's, you know, that's always nice that we were able to, you know, scam them out, or get that out of them. Get that out of them, I should say. I'm sorry, it's been a long night, so some of my words are, it's not exactly what I'm, but thank you, St. Louis. You guys, the whole night, I mean, I don't know if you guys felt it. I was on the other side of Gorilla, where, again, myself and other very important people sit. It's on the other side of the curtain where the wrestlers, again, that doesn't matter. But it was palpable, and I hope you guys, everybody here in the media, you guys felt that same energy from St. Louis. Maybe some of you were in that same, maybe you guys were out in the stands and cheering for your favorite superstars. But I just thought that every single wrestler that went out there, every match that we had, we were firing on all cylinders. And I mean, if you didn't like what you saw tonight, I guess the best thing I can say is, or the only thing I can say is, you're not a real fan, right? Because if you're a fan of pro wrestling, this was it. And I'm not just saying that because I happen to be the one who created all of it. Everything you saw tonight was actually from my magic pen. I actually produced everything you saw. Again, that's not even the point. But if you did like it, it was me that put it all together. If you didn't, then you're just not a real fan anyway. So I don't even know why we would have that discussion. But as the chief bullshit officer, it is my duty to first, before I get into the event, and just tell you guys some of the biggest things that we were able to accomplish tonight. Just in terms of numbers, I have to bring in some of our sponsors, some of our new advertisers. We're really excited to partner up with these brands and really take WWE to a whole nother level. You saw some of our new advertisements out on the ring, up on the Tron, the turnbuckles. We tried to oversaturate the advertisements. And we do that because fans really like more ads. We did focus groups, and they just said, you know, more ads, please, WWE. So we're trying to fill their hunger for more advertisements. So we're very happy to announce our new partnership with Post Cereal, especially Cocoa Pebbles. Soon you're going to see Cocoa Pebbles and Post cereal boxes on our turnbuckles and on the Tron. We're especially going to start working with Otis and Tozawa, so we're very excited about that. So when Otis and Tozawa come out, instead of their little video package, you're going to see a lot of Cocoa Pebbles, Flintstones, things like that. So we're very excited. If you're wondering, I do like the Fruity Pebbles every now and again, but I'm more so Cocoa Pebbles. And the reason is, it all started back in 1990s. They're telling me I don't really have time for those stories, but maybe the next Media Scrum, I'll tell you my story about Cocoa Pebbles. I also want a huge announcement. We are actually extending our sponsorship with Fit Crunch from Robert Irvine. The best and only protein bar for everybody backstage in Gorilla. While the event is happening, I don't know if you guys know this, but we're actually on the other side of the curtain, where all the very important people stay. Myself, other suits and ties, and we kind of stay, it's on the other side of the ramp, and we actually are on headset. That doesn't even matter. But Fit Crunch, man, we go through a lot of those protein bars. Robert Irvine, his lovely wife, Gail Kim. I also want to say a big shout out to Tide. It is always good. I always try to tell our superstars after your matchups, when you go back to the hotel, when you get a chance, wash your attire, wash your gear. You'd be surprised how many people I've been in the ring with and they just don't wash their gear. Tide will help you do that. It's a detergent. And I'll tell you a few stories about Tide. Back in 1999, I was actually at a hotel. It was called the Hyatt. It was down in Orlando. All right, they're saying I can't tell these stories, but next Media Scrum, I'll tell you. These are great sponsors. I also want to show you guys a new partnership. First of all, Samsung Electronics. And I want to show you guys the brand new 75-inch TV. Just give me 3 or 4 minutes. I'll go get the 75-inch TV. Huh? Are you sure? Because I can stay here all night. I don't have anything to do. I'm supposed to be running the content, but I don't actually do anything for the content. So I could just do more media if you want. No? Okay, I guess they're not letting me show you guys the TV, but Samsung Electronics, tune into Monday Night Raw this Monday. I'll try to do a segment where I show you guys the TV, so we'll see, man. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. All right, let's move on, please, because I got some numbers to go over. Where are these damn glasses? I know I'm always losing them. I'm getting a little bit older, but I can still drop a pedigree on anybody's ass, so nobody here in the media better get smart. Got some numbers, man. We shattered some records this week in St. Louis. Okay, there it is. Yes. That's where it is. Okay, so it's just some numbers if you guys don't mind. The city is saying that it was not an actual sellout. Do not believe any of that. We actually had a focus group go out. They tallied up some numbers. I can confirm. Not only was it a legit sellout, but we actually had 147,000 screaming fans from the WWE Universe in attendance. What that means is that's a new indoor arena record. The most that was ever held in an arena, we were told, was 29,000 fans. Again, we held 147,000 tonight. So don't believe what the city is telling you. It was not only a legit sellout, but we actually we shattered records at 147,000. So you don't need to fact check that. We've already done the research. And again, that's a big testament to our WWE universe. I also want to send out this report. This was again, a testament to the WWE Universe. Initial reports are indicating that 95 million fans watched this PLE from 327 countries. Obviously, this means we shattered all records. This showcases, it just showcases the passion from our WWE Universe. So a big thank you to our universe. Again, that's 95 million fans over 327 countries. Now, you're going to hear that these are false reports because there's no way that can be achieved. But again, we've had our own researchers go out, focus groups, and we're going to go ahead and confirm that these are accurate numbers. We also brought in $2.5 billion in new ad revenue thanks to Morgan & Morgan, the law firm. You may have seen their billboard in the middle of the ring during the entire event tonight. We did a survey throughout the entire night, and 98% of all fans within the WWE Universe loved the new Morgan & Morgan ring canvas. So we'll be doing a lot more of that for future events to make sure that the WWE Universe is getting exactly what they want. And again, they're telling us they want more of those type of advertisement placements. That big Morgan & Morgan. We ran into a little bit of trouble before the event started. We put the Morgan & Morgan down, and I guess a lot of airplanes wanted to land on it. They thought it was a tarmac. So it's a little funny story I've been telling everybody. That means that this is working, right? We're making the ads so huge that airplanes want to land on them. And again, the WWE Universe is telling us that they want the ads to be bigger. So we feel that wrestling on basically a billboard is the right way to go. So a big thanks to the WWE Universe for that. Advertisers, sponsors. Again, I could go another hour with our advertisers. They're telling me that I got to get the hook on that, so they won't let me. So those are just some of the shattering numbers that we pulled in this weekend in St. Louis. Again, I want to thank everybody for making that possible. I also want to just give you guys some thoughts on tonight's events. Jeff Cobb, as you see, I brought in Jeff Cobb, and I said, who needs vignettes? I said, let's just put him out there, because let's be honest, I'm not going to have too much for him anyway, so I might as well just, Well, I'm just being honest. I mean, there's no reason to BS I mean, I am the chief BS officer, and I'm just going to tell you guys straight up. It takes a lot of work to do those vignettes and to get people introduced to a character. It's a lot easier if you just kind of just debut them and hope that nobody asks questions. So hopefully that was a big surprise for the IWC. They love me over there, so no matter what, I know they're going to love that. I thought it was best for Lyra to hold on to her title a few extra weeks. I thought the best way to have the most climactic experience is a roll-up. So you guys may have saw the amazing roll-up that I put out there. And I also want to, guys, I got to remember what match 3 even was here. Where was I was about to put them on my head. I don't know. I'm getting a little older, but I'll still pedigree your asses. Yes, match 3. That's right. That's when what we did there for match 3 is we put a Fatal 4 together, and I just said, you know what? It's a lot of work I have so many titles, I thought. You know, one night I was just sitting there next to Stephanie, and I just was like, we have a lot of titles. It's a lot of work to come up with number 1 contenders. So what I did is I just said, what if we just keep throwing everybody out there and just have triple threats, Fatal 4s? And Stephanie's like, whatever floats your boat, babe. So I was like, thank you. And I just went ahead and did it. And sure enough, that's what you got tonight, a Fatal 4-way, and Fatu ends up winning that. But what's that? Oh, that was the first match. Oh, that's where I brought Cobb out. Oh. Then what was the third match? Well, then tell me. Don't leave me hanging then. If you guys are watching this on a replay, that's most likely going to be edited out, and trust me, people will be fired in the next wave of releases. A lot of these damn suits and ties that thought their jobs were safe. Goodbye. Match 3, Penta and Dominik Mysterio. I felt that if we go too long with that match, we'd lose the crowd, so I just kept it around 10 minutes. I felt bringing out the Americano latte, who people may think is Chad Gable, maybe not, right? Have him go out there and pretty much decide the match. Felt that was the way to go. Felt that's the best way to build Penta up. So it looks like it looked like the WWE universe was loving that. As far as going into Pat McAfee, Gunther, I mean, that's just Pat. I love Pat McAfee, and I thought he went out there and had the performance for the ages. He just would not, no matter how hard Gunther clenched into that chokehold, Pat McAfee just did not want to tap. And there was a moment in Gorilla where I was like, oops, because I was like, I had Gunther tap out in 8 seconds to Jey Uso, and I told Pat to wait 3 minutes. And I was like, that probably isn't the best way to book Gunther. It is what it is. But after the match, you see what I did. This is from my own creativity, not to toot my own horn or anything like that, but I did pretty much tell Gunther to show some mutual respect and kind of have a nod to Pat McAfee. And Pat doesn't swing or anything. Pat just has mutual respect. So kind of cool, right? I keep implementing this little tweener booking into Gunther, so you don't really know if he's a diabolical heel. So I really feel like no harm, no foul, and everybody can now forget about WrestleMania because he did this thing with Pat. So I really think that the WWE universe is going to finally let me off the hook for that botch. I mean, you edit that. That better be edited out. I didn't mean to say I don't botch. As you guys know, I'm so uber creative that everything I do is just pure gold. So I never botch. If fans don't like it, they're just not real fans. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. I never do any wrong. So make sure that that's edited out as well. I definitely do not botch. But I felt that was just booked flawlessly. And again, I'm not just saying that because I'm the booker. I thought that was flawless. As far as the main event, it's Cena, it's Orton, speaks for itself. All I had to do was put the stamp of creativity on it and do what I do best, which is just be uber creative. So what I did at the end of this match is I had all the suits and ties go out there and check on a referee. Never been done before, I know. And then they all just ate an RKO, and then I had R-Truth decide the match and finish the night. R-Truth. I just felt like that was the way to go because I wanted Travis Scott, but at WrestleMania, everyone threw a fit. So I said, all right, I won't do Travis Scott this time. I'm going to send out R-Truth. Now, as far as the fans, they didn't really react the way that I necessarily wanted to. I understand. They were a bit let down, almost like Travis Scott. You know, we like R-Truth, but why is he finishing the night? And all I got to say is, rethink that. And I think you'll come to the conclusion that it was very creative and the only way that this night could have ended. And if your conclusion is that you just didn't like it, well, I have to question if you're even a real fan, because I felt that R-Truth ending the night and helping Cena win, it's right up there with Travis Scott at Mania, and I think that was a brilliant idea as well. So I just think from top to bottom, this was just an impressively creative night, probably the most creative pro wrestling show I've ever seen. And again, I'm the one creating it, so I know that's a little biased, or at least it may sound that way. But even if I wasn't, I would have thought this was the best night in the history of nights in pro wrestling. So if you want, I can spend another hour or two going over some advertisements, more records that we shattered. I got more numbers if you want. Where are my glasses at? Huh? I think they're giving me the hook. They're telling me I got to move on for who's coming out next. Is it R-Truth? I don't even know, man. But I got to find my glasses first of all, and I can tell you guys, tune in. They're giving me the hook. They're telling me I got to wrap it up. I can spend another 8 or 10 hours, man. I got all night. I got all morning. I don't have to be at Raw to do anything. You sure? All right, well, tune into Raw. I'll try to go over more advertisements and tell you guys my Tide story. Once I find my damn glasses. Does anybody know where my damn glasses are? What the hell? You're all fired. The hell's going on here? How do I get out of here? Huh? This way. No? Why are you telling me this way? This way. That's right. Hi, unit. Salute and welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly of the 2025 BackLash Premium Live event. The rules are simple. Every single match will get at least one tally in one of these categories: good, bad, or ugly. You want to stay away from the ugly column, because when we do the final count at the end of this review to determine if this was a good or bad pay-per-view premium live event, every single ugly will be crossed out and turned into 2 bads. You'll be surprised how many times that those uglies have greatly determined if an event was good or bad. Stay away from that ugly column. Unfortunately, an event like this, that's going to be hard to do. Most of us knew that this event was not going to be good. The only question we had was, how bad was it going to be? I was live. It was only supposed to be the opening match live, but we turned it into the first 3 matches, because if we didn't, we'd all be put to sleep. So I stayed live for the first 3 matchups, and I could not believe that this is what we were getting. And after 3 matches, we finally had to just tap so I could get set for this review and give you guys a proper good, the bad, and the ugly. But I tapped after 3 matchups. That's how bad it was. But we have to put tallies up on this board. So I say we waste no more time. Let's get into it. You had John Cena, Randy Orton in the main event. Oh, I got so lots to say about that. Trust me, that's going to get some tallies on this board. Gunther and Pat McAfee. What an absolute clown show. That's going to get some tallies. And we're going to start off with the opening contest. This matchup was for the United States Championship, currently held by Jacoby Fatu. This was a fatal 4-way schmaz. That translates into WWE was too lazy to give you anything that was actually fun, intriguing. They could not be bothered to give us an actual storyline that involves a champion and a number 1 contender in a hotly contested feud that we can't see how it all culminates at the Premium Live event. But no, you're just going to be lazy. You're going to chuck a bunch of number 1 contenders, the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3 contender, just like they did with the IC Championship at last month's or 3 weeks ago's WrestleMania with Braun Breaker. Fatal 4-ways, triple threats. It's easier for Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, Paul Levesque, McMahon. He can't be bothered to give you anything fun or exciting, so he's going to give you 4 dudes, 1 match, call it a day. When it was all said and done, Jacoby Fatu keeps his championship. A debuting Jeffrey Cobb shows up to WWE. Now, I'm sure this is where the interweb machine is going to flip out, right? It was Jeffrey Cobb. Cobb is there. Jeff Cobb's a beast. He's a machine. He's so good. Oh, I know Jeff Cobb. Yeah, he is good, by the way. Good. Good pickup, good talent. I hear you. So go through the proper channels to get him to where he should be. Vignettes. Tell everybody that doesn't know what a Jeff Cobb is, slowly start to show them. Tell them what a Jeffrey Cobb is. You just don't have this dude debut as another member in an already dull AF bootleg version of a bloodline. And now he's just another spoke on the wheel. If you don't know what a Jeffrey Cobb is, he's no different than a corn on the cob. Sadly. So he shows up. Get some "this is awesome" chants from some IWC nerds, maybe. That's it. You're not going to get much more. What separates him from a Solo or a Fatu? It was a weird way to throw him into an already clustered situation with this bloodline. And on top of that, the timing is just awful. Read the room. All of these people just lost their jobs last week, and your response is more. Let's bring in Rusev. Let's bring in Aleister Black. Let's talk about a Mariah May. Let's bring in Cobb. More. It's too much. Concentrate on what you're doing with Phoenix or a Penta or all that whole load that just came in last month, 2 months ago. More at the same time that releases are happening. Well, you have to release individuals to bring in the new people. How about you just stop bringing in new people right now? I understand Cobb is talented. I understand Mariah May can bring some value. Right now, I would just put a cap on this ship. Stop. Nobody else gets on the ship. Because eventually, if you have too many people, just like with any ship, there has to be a max capacity. It's going to sink. Nobody else on the ship right now. Focus on the passengers you have. Hunter cannot keep track or control of who he has. Nobody's being booked properly. Nothing is creative. Unless you're there in attendance screaming, "This is awesome," or dancing 20 minutes to Seth's sing-along, or yeeting for 25 minutes. If you're watching at home, what is all? Nobody knows. The talent doesn't know if they're faces or heels or what they're doing next. They don't know if they're a part of the next Premium Live. They're being released and they had no idea that they were severing ties with them. It's so bad right now, man. There's no transparency. And all this company does is keep adding more and more people. So if you think I'm putting a good onto this board because Jeffrey Cobb showed up, or that these four dudes really brought it and had a good match, no. The booking of this sucked. You can blame Hunter Hearst Helmsley. The match was average AF. If I saw it on Raw, SmackDown, or a house show, I'd go, Probably should have went and got a coffee during this match. Probably should have went outside and picked up a bad habit, maybe threw myself in the traffic. I would never need to watch this a second time. I never would. No. The entire thing, all of this, is ugly. One in the ugly column. That was long-winded. Should be thankful I even gave this first matchup that amount of time, because there's truly nothing to talk about. Good luck, Jeff Cobb. I truly mean that. In a month, just 1 month, I'd love to see where a Jeffrey Cobb is, man. Are they already going to ignite a Fatu-Jeff Cobb feud? There's too many people, man. Too many people sit at catering during Raw and SmackDown. They can't even get a chance at TV time. When they do, their booking is so bad. Probably throwing yourself in traffic would be a better sitch. More. How are you fitting them all in? Especially if SmackDown is going to 2 hours next month, which thankfully is what we're hearing. Even less time with even more talent. Yes. Awesome job, Hunter Helmsley. You can blame the booking of this for getting an ugly. And then the fact that nothing memorable happened. Vignettes for people like Cobb. Try that. Go the old Razor Ramon route, man. That's what made him so special before Razor Ramon even stepped foot inside of a ring. Oh, by the way, we're getting another ugly up there. What am I saying? Before we even got to that, Morgan and Morgan was the highlight of the night, wasn't it? Big yellow letters, Morgan and Morgan. That is a law firm. This company has pimped out the WWE brand to try to get every penny that they gave Vince McMahon in that buyout and everybody that got paid out. They have there's no more honor at all, man. There's no prestige left in this company. It is just literally every single way that we can get a penny out of any single area. That's what we need to do. If we have to put Morgan and Morgan taking up the entire canvas, an eyesore. There's no way you could watch this event without just seeing this giant Morgan and Morgan covering the entire canvas and take away from what you are watching. There's no way. They were wrestling on a billboard tonight, not a wrestling ring. That was not a canvas. That was a billboard. Where I come from, that's called a billboard. And this company has pimped out this brand. This is so sad. I cannot tell you how many advertisements there were on that ring, around that ring, on those boards. And then if you're watching at home, all the advertisements that we had to go through on a premium live, on a streaming service. We got more commercials than you'd even see on a cable station. Morgan and Morgan, they were wrestling and fighting on a fucking billboard. That gets 3 uglies. That's right, I said it. 3 uglies. I should have covered that before I even got into the first matchup. So now we're at 4 uglies. Match number 2, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. The booking of this is utter trash. Becky comes back. First of all, Lyra doesn't even have a championship match at WrestleMania, a singles title match. Instead, they put her in a weird tag match because they needed Becky to have a way back. And on top of that, they did Bayley filthy by taking her out, putting Becky in. They win the tag titles for a night, then lose the tag titles right back to the people they beat, Liv and Raquel. And then Becky just turns on Lyra. 3 weeks later, here's the match. What the Who is keeping Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H, Paul Levesque, McMahon in check? Anybody? Stephanie? Bruce Pritchard? Michael Hayes? Father-in-law Vincent McMahon? Anybody? Somebody's got to keep dude in check. What is this booking? So that would have gotten a bad automatically. Should have gotten an ugly, actually. But because Lyra's super damn sexy, I would have given that a good. This match, subpar. Nothing I couldn't have seen on a Raw, a SmackDown, or a house show. Sound familiar? So we'd have to go to the finish to decide where this is going to go. The finish was a roll-up. Lyra rolls up Becky with one arm. Her other hand, she got poked in the eye, so she's checking on her eye. One arm is loosely holding all of Becky Lynch, and Becky can't get her shoulder even a centimeter off the canvas. That's not just bad. That's ugly. Lyra should have been keeping the title. I'm glad she did. It's only going to be for a few more weeks. She's probably going to drop it at Saturday night's main event, or they might let her hold it to Money in the Bank where Becky will end up getting it anyway. But at least she got a PLE victory because she wasn't even on Mania. But that's how you're going to end a PLE finish to a title match? A simplistic, one-armed, lackluster roll-up? And on top of that, this is why this is going to go where it's going on that board. Because they were just kicking out of each other's finishers nonstop. Lyra kicked out of at least 2 Manhandle slams. Becky kicked out of the Nightwing. Referee Jess, I never see her really botch, but she was off the mark when she was supposed to be picking up that turnbuckle. But she was late, So she ended up seeing the pinfall. She was supposed to be putting it back, but she was already caught, right? She already saw the pinfall. So she had to like drop it and go, what do I do? So even referee Jess was flustered. This wasn't just bad. This is not PLE worthy. There was no creative that went into it. The things that should have been better were kind of botched. Ugly. I'm not giving mulligans, man. Maybe if I was just a fan. But Hunter Helmsley said if you don't like everything that you're watching, you're not a real fan. And you can fuck off. So that makes us critics. So if we're critics, we can be even more honest because that's what Hunter is asking us to do. We're not the real fans. We're critics now. Right? Because we call it honestly. Fans are just going to say, please, sir, can I have some more with a wooden bowl and a wooden spoon? They're going to eat up everything. They're going to yeet when Hunter says yeet. They're going to sing when Hunter says sing. They're going to chant when Hunter says chant. Hunter says jump, they say how high. But the real ones that are calling it down the middle, truth, amplified honesty, we are critics now. Cool. That means we have to be more honest for everybody because we are now the voice of the voiceless. We are the ones that everybody is depending on to be honest. You're welcome. BC great, absolutely accepts that duty. And I will do right by every single pro wrestling fan, I assure you, in these critiques. This is nothing you'd go back and watch again. This is not PLE worthy. There should have been way more creativity put into it. It should have been built up way more properly than it was. And it all starts from Lyra having a singles match for her title at Mania. All of this just batshit, backwards, back-ass crazy. Ugly, and that's where it stays. So now, match 1 gets an ugly, match 2 gets an ugly. Morgan and Morgan being plastered as a billboard in our beloved ring that was once prestigious. Now it's nothing more than an advertisement scheme. You pay the most money, we will plant you from left to right. You'll take up the entire ring. Now we have a law firm. Lawyers. Morgan and Morgan. Yeah, that definitely gets 3 uglies, and you should be. That's BC being actually generous. I could give that 10 uglies. I'm so frustrated with that bullshit. Remember, we were flipping out when we knew the Prime bottle was going to be a little too large. So now we are up to 5 uglies going into match 3. If you're wondering what match 3 was, it was Penta versus Dominik Mysterio. Read the room. Dominik's getting cheered, so why put him in there with Penta when you're going to split your audience and people are going to boo Penta or cheer for Dom louder? And that's what happened. Dirty, dirty Dom, dirty, dirty Dom, some stupid chant. And Penta's looking around like, what the fuck? I thought I was a fan favorite. Why you guys... That's what Hunter Helmsley booked. Read the room. You would have known that. So this match goes about 10 minutes. All of Judgment Day runs out. They look like geeks. Carlito is kicked out in like 60 seconds. Finn Balor's like trying to get on the apron and being shoved off by the ref. Something. I have no idea. The Americano Espresso Latte, Grande Americano Latte, whatever, he jumps up onto the apron. He takes out Penta, and then moments later, a frog splash. Dominik wins the match, and that's it. We go to a video package for the next match, Gunther and Pat McAfee. And I'm like, what did I was live for the first 3 matches. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. That's how the match ended. The Americano Espresso Latte jumps up, takes out Penta, and that's the night. 10 minutes after the bell rings. Maybe that's for the better because the match was putting me to sleep anyway. I couldn't give 2 fucks about this match. I couldn't care about Penta versus Dominik Mysterio on a PLE, a Raw, a SmackDown, a house show, the local bingo hall, your grandmother's backyard. I couldn't give a fuck. So it's probably for the best it was only 10 minutes. The finish sucked. It was anti-creative, okay? The opposite of creative. And it's not only just getting a bad, it's getting a fucking ugly. I think I asked you guys, match 2, I think it was, if it should get a bad or a good. You guys said that Becky and Lyra should have gotten a bad anyway. I transferred into that an ugly, just so you know. I forgot to mention that. But match number 3 is also going to get an ugly. Because, come on, man. This is what you booked. You booked 2 PLEs within 3 weeks of one another. 3 weeks after Mania, of all things. You better have a game plan. This better be next level, especially after the trash WrestleMania that you gave us. And this is the bullshit that you have going into match 4? No, ugly. Absolutely ugly. Match 1, ugly. Match 2, ugly. Morgan and Morgan gets 3 uglies. And you know what? Match number 3 gets an ugly. So you have 6 fucking uglies. That's going to transfer into 2 bads apiece, which means it's 12 bads to 0 goods. Good job, Hunter Helmsley. Let's see what you produce for match 4. This is Gunther versus Fatu McAfee. Now, this is Hunter's big plan to make Gunther relevant again because he tapped out to his own move in 8 seconds to Jason Uso, the tag team guy. So now the big thing is if you take out the commentary team, they're going to go, whoa, Gunther's back. He's diabolical. He's a beast again. That's the guy who goes in the wars with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre and Dragunov. No, that did not do this at all. Pat McAfee's acting is just so bad that did not help any matters. So when he was supposed to be selling a lot, like when he got choked out at the end of the match and then he's up after 20 seconds, yeah, it didn't make Gunther look too badass. The fact that it took... do you guys realize it took McAfee 2.5 minutes to finally pass/tap out to that move? Gunther locked the chokehold. It took Fatu McAfee 2.5 minutes bare minimum to finally tap/pass out. Do you guys realize it took Gunther 8 seconds to tap out from that? Tap out, not pass out. He tapped out in 8 seconds to fucking Jason Uso's chokehold. Why did it take Pat McAfee 2.5 minutes and Gunther 8 seconds to tap out? Is nobody thinking about this, or is it just BC and his amplified unit? Because it shouldn't just be BC and the amplified unit. It shouldn't just be the subscribers to this channel being the smartest pro wrestling fans on the planet, but that's what we are. Nobody's thinking about this. Pat McAfee gets slapped around, but he shows gusto and heart. And when it's all said and done, Gunther chokes him out and he smiles. And then afterwards, he gives him mutual respect. Michael Cole's a clown too. They made him a clown. Cole gets in the ring. Gunther's holding on, but Pat saves the day. So Cole goes to the outside and holds down the leg of Gunther to try to let Pat McAfee get a pin over Gunther. That's crossing the line from something that could be believable, this dude's upset with the commentators, to the commentator now holding down the wrestler's leg. No matter how upset he is with Gunther, that was so gimmicky and so stupid, brutally stupid. But that's not why this is getting a fucking ugly solely. It's everything I just mentioned, and then afterwards, Gunther looks at Pat and gives him mutual respect. Not a handshake like he gave Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, but he gives him a little adieu. I bid you adieu. A head nod. Good job, kid. You earned my respect. Okay, Gunther still hasn't earned anybody else's because he's still the guy who tapped out in 8 seconds to the tag team guy, Jason Uso. And you know what? Tonight's Backlash didn't change any of that. You failed, Hunter Helmsley. This booking failed. This creative failed. Ugly. Put it up on the boards. I've spoken. First 4 matchups, ugly, 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 ugly. Morgan and Morgan. They were wrestling on a billboard instead of a wrestling ring. So that gets 3 uglies. Now you sit at 7 uglies. You transfer that into the 2 bads apiece, and the board is currently at 14 bads to 0 goods. The main event better have been the best main event we've ever seen between John Cena and Randy Orton, because it's going to need to get 15 goods somehow. And if you're wondering how we get there, just like we have uglies that get crossed out into 2 bads apiece, we have what's called a great. If I think something is great, it gets 2 goods apiece. So this would have to get 7 greats and then an extra good on top. Did it do that? I got to go get my coffee. It's still over on the live stream portion of the studio. I'm going to get that coffee and we're going to talk about this main event. There's not enough coffee in the world to go over this match. I like overbooked matchups usually because it shows that you care, right? With all the fruit roll-up finishes we see these days and the 100 false finishes just to get to the climax of the match, overbooking a match shows that people cared about it. You put all this thought into it, whether it's good creativity or not, whether it's good or not. But then there are those times where it's an absolute circus. It's a sideshow that never should have been, right? I mean, it just gets to a realm of not even believable. Like, you would believe Undertaker shooting lightning out of his hand or Bray Wyatt supernatural shit. You'd believe that over the match that you were witnessing. That's what happened tonight. If you're in the live crowd tonight, you're probably having a great time. You're seeing John Cena go through tables with a couple of attitude adjustments. There's RKOs galore. Finishers don't mean anything these days. So you just saw a bunch of RKOs, bunch of attitude adjustments. I told you guys that was going to happen. Told you all week. Told you when I was live a little bit earlier for the first 3 matches of the show. And sure enough, that's what you got. But you want to talk oversaturation. And I know that John Cena's limited because of his Hollywood schedule. He can only do so much, so you have to overbook his matchups. But man, the referee, a couple of referees go down in this match. John Cena's clocking one with a championship upside his dome piece. And I kid you not, there was a moment in this match where all of the suits and ties ran out with referees to check on one of the refs that went down. I've watched pro wrestling for decades. I cannot remember anybody being that concerned for a referee. Nick Aldis, all of these agents, all of your head suit and ties, man, they all ran down. I'm like, wait, it's just a referee, bro. What in the world are you? He's going to get up in 3 minutes. And then we found out why they were all out there. They all, one by one, ate an RKO. Now, maybe if it's 2 or 3, hey, that was pretty cool. When it's 7 or 8, it becomes an absolute comedy sideshow. Guys, they were actually waiting for their turn to get RKO'd. One would go down, and then here's Jamie Noble. He'd be like, ready, and he jumps into it. And then another suit and tie's like, ready. They're jumping into it. I couldn't believe what didn't anybody think it was too many people that are about to get an RKO? You're watching everybody get RKO'd, and you're watching it, and then you jump into it yourself. What about maybe what are you doing? And you're not going to believe the finish. Again, action-packed for the live crowd, no doubt. And maybe even watching at home, you were really into this match. I hear you. Way too not believable for BC, man. Way too just over the top. And I like overbooked. This was just a bit much, or a lot much. But I was like, all right, let's just see what the ending is going to be. Let's see the finish. Hopefully it's really good. And then whatever is going to be the actual finish to the show, right? Something big's going to happen. I don't know what, but that's for Hunter to decide because WrestleMania ended so poorly. You got to really make it up. You're not going to believe this, or you should believe it. You should not be shocked. The match ended with R-Truth coming out. R-Truth. Hunter's like, you didn't like Travis Scott? Here's R-Truth. Truth comes out, stops Randy Orton from ending John Cena. That's my hero. And then he gets RKO'd. And then I think Cena may have hit him in his balls or something like that. I don't know. Moments later, Cena was pinning Randy Orton. 1, 2, 3. That's the match. That's the night. That's the match. R-Truth was your fight. So it was Travis Scott at WrestleMania and R-Truth at BackLash. And you expect me, when this camera goes on and the mic is hot and live, you expect me to bullshit you and say this is amazing? Because there was some action in the match? Because the crowd was going absolutely bonkers? They weren't at the end. The crowd was like, that's it? We gave you everything we had. We gave you so much energy. We were a hot crowd. At least it wasn't Travis Scott. You got R-Truth deciding the night. That allows Cena to get up and get the pin on Orton. And if you thought there was a big surprise or a big finish to this pay-per-view Premium Live, guess what you got? You got John Cena grabbing the mic, getting on the turnbuckle, and saying, I don't need new music or new attire. I just need competition. Drink it in, St. Louis. And Paul Levesque McMahon's credit comes up with Leaf. It's so corny. It takes you... If Morgan and Morgan, the billboard on the canvas, did take you away from anything tonight, the fucking credits at the end, man. There's advertisements. There's credits. You're not watching a pro wrestling show anymore. You're watching a fucking circus. And he says these words, drink it in, St. Louis. And we fade to black with Paul Levesque McMahon's credit, letting you know that he's the producer of this garbage. And I'm supposed to what? Say this was an amazing main event that just had another bad finish, so we'll let Hunter off the hook? No. It gets a fucking ugly. And the only reason it doesn't get more than one is because I thought there was enough action in the match. So I'm actually being generous. That gets an absolute ugly. So every single match tonight gets an ugly because I'm fed up with the bullshit that this company is giving us. They're taking more and more of your money, and they're giving you less and less. They've already proclaimed I'm not a real fan. The unit's not anybody that doesn't like this. If you don't like any of this, you're not a real fan and you can fuck off. So now you're just a critic. So that's what I'll be. And a critic has to be honest. This show was more than forgettable. I won't go back to watch any of this. And if my job as a critic is to tell everybody that didn't watch this if they should spend a moment of their time on this, I'd be lying if I said yes or put anything into that good column. So no, 5 straight uglies for 5 straight matchups, 3 uglies for Morgan and Morgan. And that's going to give you 8 uglies, 16 bads when we cross them off, no goods. And just because you finished the night like this, with just that weird R-Truth finish, and we faded to black with Hunter's name in the credit, just because you finish so lackluster just like you did at Mania, you get another fucking ugly. That is now going to be 9 uglies, 18 bad to 0 good. This was a fucking ugly event. None of this. We could have just witnessed it at Raw or SmackDown. None of this could have been or should have been at a PLE to waste our Saturday nights on. None of it. That's right. You thought I was harsh before. You ain't seen nothing yet. As a fan, I was being generous. As a critic, if that's the way you want it, Helmsley, let's go. 18 bad, 0 goods. Company's in the shitter. I'll tell you when it's good. You'll know because I'll tell you. And right now, we're far from it. Your big surprise for the night? Jeffrey Cobb. I can't think of anything else. Pat McAfee lasted 2.5 minutes longer than Gunther did in his own move. R-Truth decides the main event. Becky Lynch got rolled up by one arm, loosely by Lyra Valkyria, the roll-up. Dominik Mysterio wins in 10 minutes thanks to an Americano espresso latte. I ain't gonna bullshit my audience. That's the board. That's your review. It's on to Saturday night's main event in a couple of weeks. We'll do it all again, unit. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and we'll see if WWE can get their act together. If Helmsley can pull his head out of his ass. 44 dive, that's a wrap. Until next time, and there will be that next time. BC and the unit saying check you. Deuces, ooses. Unit, salute.